like a pro with Stanley Mitch. Do you want me to make this short and punchy like a YouTube jingle? Or a full promotional anthem that could run for a few minutes? Cut, trim, color, make the vision glow. Stanley Mitch will teach you how to steal the show. From beginners to the master. Cut, trim, cut.
Hello guys, and welcome to this new episode of Edit Like a Pro with me, Stanley Mitch. Let me check whether the audio is great.
From beginners to
Hello guys, and welcome to this new episode of we good. We can now continue. Maybe I'll find another way of monitoring that with headphones at some point, so that I do not have to play it back and hear feedback. Right, welcome to this new episode of Edit Like a Pro from wherever you are in this world. Feel welcome. My name is Stanley Mitch from Mastech Studio, Githurai 44. Today we have like 4 images to edit, and that's all we are going to do. Graduation photos from a kid. I don't know that I recorded behind scene video for that photo shoot. Let me check. Yeah, it's not recorded, so we'll skip directly to the edit. You're going to make the edit simple and quick. Once you get here, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Hit the like button. It will help this video be recommended by YouTube, because that is the policy. They only recommend videos that are highly liked. And share a comment on the comment section. Ask a question. Say where you are watching us from. Say what you would like to learn. If I have not taught that yet, then we can do that. Tell me about the audio, whether the audio is good. Tell me about the video, whether you can see me right, whether I'm flickering, whether there's a problem anywhere. Just let me know. I hope you can see and hear me. And now, without much ado, let's get to the reason why we are here in the first place. These are the photos we are going to edit. Yeah, it's preschool. I don't know whether it's preschool, but this is school in itself. Graduation shoot. You're going to import all these images, and then we begin. We are in October. Cut stream. First, for lesson reasons, I'll show you what we took, everything first, and then we go to what we are editing, right? Or rather, when we get to what we are editing, we import that. Or let's first go through and then we'll come back. Clients don't always pick your greatest images or the photos that you call great or the ones that you deem great. They don't. They'll pick whatever they pick because that's what clients do. If you're a photographer, you understand what I'm saying. Even if you shot a photo that is slightly out of focus, it will surprise you that that is the one they'll settle for. They have affinity for blurry images. Now, this is what we shot. This was photo number 1. A kid just did what they were ready to do, and I took the shot because when kids do what they like, they ease in. You don't command them around. They feel like they belong there and all. Then we began to test lights and all. And then I added a prop. Graduation photos are impossible to do without props, partly because if you do them without props, then you'll only sell 3 to 4 images, or even 2 or 1, because there is nothing else. It's just someone with an oversized gown. It doesn't even have curves or shape or anything. So it's mostly the expression of the face and whatever someone is holding, the concept, the idea, the story. So when you have a prop like this, like a certificate for the graduation, then it makes much sense. Kids at this level mostly don't use that. They come with a certificate that is laminated, but it made sense to also add this prop. This is just a paper with a ribbon. You wouldn't want to see what is painted inside it. So we shot that series, and for every one shot I take full bodies and close-ups every single time. Then we change the pose, and then I also take full bodies and close-ups. Then we changed for this one. I have loved this one. I've done it before in Kenyatta University sometimes back. I thought from this angle it looked great, but also I loved it from the top so that I can show the gown spread, and so I came closer and took that shot, and I loved this one. I prayed in my heart that they will take this one, but you know, clients, they like something different, and it's okay, because that's why we shoot variety, for them to find something to pick. You see how awesome these shots are? Niceness. Then I got the books. Here is my Bible. Do not crucify me just because someone is stepping on the Bible. They are not stepping on the Bible. They are stepping on a stack of books, and the Bible happens to be part of them. I just needed a plethora of books. A pile. Yes, that's a good one. A pile of books. Where were we? Yeah, there. And then I decided to take the gown off him because now we've shot enough. And then I put the gown on a tripod so that we can recreate a photo we've done before. I had shot it before for an adult. I was curious to see what it will look like for a baby. This is what we shot for the adult. You see, we had done it before for an adult. I would have wanted to see what do we get from a baby. So again, I brought the same concept back, but this time around I wanted him to step on it without sitting, and so I shot this tack, looking at me, looking at the book, close up, full bodies, looking away to a light, and then bending forward to look at me, both full bodies and again close-ups. And mostly that's how I shoot all the time. Now you have understood how we got through the shoot. Now let's get to the actual choices. Now you have seen everything we shot, then you will see what the client took. Probably this will help you when you're shooting to also know that if a client in Githurai 44 would like that one, chances are one in Roysambu would also like the same. So you can select similar. You can shoot similar, or maybe similar concept, different idea, all that. So same idea, different concept, variations, different camera angles and all. 3057 is the first image. (3036) is image 2. I'm going to send them all once, then I begin to work on them one at a go, one after another. 3050. And finally 3065. Perfect. Let's begin. First, in this image, I think the highlights are too bright, so I'll drop them down. Mostly all my photos have highlights very bright. I happen to overexpose images all the time. I find that more pleasant. It gives me photos that have less noise. I would rather have it slightly brighter and darken it than have it dark and brighten it, because grain noise, digital grain, is produced when you are trying to add light in areas where there is no light. So my choice always is to, I'll drop the black slider so that there is contrast, raise the contrast slider slightly, and then lower the temperature like that up to that point. That's good. Open it. So I always slightly overexpose it so that I can bring it down. It gives me cleaner images. You can see, very bright. But then every time now I bring it down like that, I'm sure no matter where I zoom, I'll never find grain because the photo was slightly overexposed. However, I need to insist, ensure that you shoot RAW and JPEGs. If you overexpose on JPEGs, you are screwed completely. Yeah, your goose is cooked. They loved this one. I loved the other one from the top, and it's okay. One of the things you also need to learn as a photographer is to make peace with clients' choices. Most times they'll not pick what you'd prefer, and you shouldn't be the one recommending images for them, lest they blame you for the choices if somebody else does not like them, or they post them and nobody responds like is expected. I'm just doing previous conversations and adjusting the brightness a little for the different images that I have, because every one image will take previous settings and then with a little tweak. Now we are done importing. Let me pick. I want to put the streaming software in a place where I can monitor everything. Right, we're good. Now we need to select subject, but one of the things I want you to realize is that if there's something that is difficult to do, even for Photoshop, is to select subject for brighter colors around a bright background. If this background was green or any other color, did they say color? Agekoyo, any other color, then it would have been easier. But a part like this is going to be very difficult for Photoshop to. That's where we come in, because we are cleverer than AI. but instead of fronts, let's make a copy, rasterize it, select the areas first we want to fill with content aware fill. I also want to do that for this hotspot. That's what happens. I use a carpet for the backdrop for two reasons. One, because it's easy to clean up when it's dirty. Two, if you heat it with sufficient light, it lights up so nicely. And three, it's cheap to buy. Four, it lasts like forever. This is its third year since I bought it, and I bought it at 2000. See how much money 2000 has made me. It's not the same as buying a backdrop at around 15,000. Then you have to get a dry cleaner all the time, especially those made of material, muslin. Even paper backdrops are easy, they tear away. I have them that are torn, they have sellotapes all over the place. This one doesn't. There are colors for these backgrounds, but they are very reflective. So if you did purple for this carpet background, your struggle is real. So I'm evening out the background using both patch tool and spot healing brush tool. Clicking away, this is spot healing brush tool, clicking away every spot I see that I do not like. I'm just preparing the image for whatever end result I want to see. These photos were shot on Sunday. Today is Wednesday. So if you're here and you're watching me, and some of you are clients, even if you're photographers, you are clients in another studio, when you go there, you don't be in a hurry. One, to shoot, so allow them to do their work, and two, give them time to edit. Give them a minimum 3 days. If they have other bookings, they have a burial coming up, they have booked weddings, and you shot on Thursday, allow them, go serve those people they already booked in, and then they come back and give you a good edit. If you insist you want it in a hurry, you will get it, but trust me, you'll never get the best of their works. You won't. I'm one of them. I know what it feels when somebody gives you pressure and you have to deliver, and you also need to travel. You do just the bare minimum. Make the photo just acceptably okay, and sometimes you find that you messed up some masks. Some things are falling in places they shouldn't. But again, it's too late when you realize that a mask was messed up, because you wanted to finish and send, so that you can also go and rest, prepare for the next shoot, create mood boards for it, call, ask for pins, communicate with the drivers. So always allow a photographer. Photography is not an emergency unless it's a passport intended to apply for a job or attached to a document. The rest of them, they are not emergencies. Even if they were for birthdays, you had a whole year. You came late. Who is late here? Again, would you rather sacrifice quality and standard to just impress people online on your day? Again, who cares about your birthday? Like if I have a birthday on Wednesday, nobody knows. I can still post on Friday, when now the work is well done, and everybody will think, I thought it was 28th. No, it's 30th. By the time it's getting the other year, they won't even remember whether it was 30th again. People have many other things they care about. Post when the work is done. Better still, maybe get one for posting, or just post yourself, celebrate everything else, and then later post the well processed images. Again, do not be dared to ask for raw first, so that you go post them and then you will repost the edited ones. If it's me you're asking for, I'll not give you the rows, and if you insist on the rows, I'll never edit them. One thing I don't like about kids' gowns is their caps. Their caps are very poorly done. Very poorly done. The carton, the cardboard inside that cap is always flip-floppy. See, strings all over the place. I don't know who makes gowns for kids, but they make very poor ones. They make very poor gowns, very poor. This is something you just need a pair of scissors or a laser blade to cut off. Maybe you're thinking a parent should have done it, but they only receive this thing maybe a day or two before that day, and they're supposed to do a few other things. They are running up and down preparing for the party. So they might not even have noticed those strings, but the company that makes gowns or the school, they should be more careful on what. See, people are paying for these gowns. So I'm just clicking away all the inconsistencies, funny strings falling off clothes, just to perfect the look. I was not paid for this, but they neither also paid me to not do this, so I might as well do it. Clients come to you sometimes because they know you know what to do with a bad thing, not because you're the only photographer available. They give you your time so that you can also do things like this, you see. But if I was in a hurry, I would just change the background or smoothen the background and send it. It wouldn't matter whether he has a pimple on his face. I did not put it there. Again, I don't have time to edit it. Now I whiten the eyes, just hue saturation, choose the hand, click in the eye to sample the color and then lighten it. Let's add and click through all the other colors that are making the sclera not look white. Then invert, double click and invert. We need a white brush and begin to paint back. So if you insist you are in a hurry, you'll also be the one that complains that why didn't you remove this? Why didn't you add that? Why don't my photos look like the ones you showed me for samples? Why do I have very red eyes? Can you please re-edit this part? And then at that point I'll tell you, yes, on Thursday. Today I'm traveling. Again, you see, you'll still have to wait for me to redo. So what's the point? I love ranting, don't I? But I can tell you this much. Anytime a client has given me sufficient time, and sufficient time is not them that give, it's I who tell them how long I need, because I know the amount of work ahead of me and the amount of shoots that I've booked. if they give me that without pressuring me with bado, just send one, please. Start with one. The grandmother wants to see it. The husband has said the one that paid money for the shoot is requiring to see an evidence that I was there, whatever. By the time I'm delivering the work, I'm usually very happy. Not happy because I took long, but happy because I had all the time to correct everything that required correction. I want to make this white a little reddish, so I'll go to neutrals and pull back the neutrals, the cyans, and that way I'll have proper looking eyes. If you zoom in, you'll notice without it, it looks grayish. I just need it to be a little white, but with a tint of red, because eyes are not purely white unless you are a newborn. I'll take a screenshot. On your keyboard, you press Control, Shift, Alt, and E. Let me see whether I can have the camera tilt to show you that. Yes. Control, Shift, Alt, and E. Just like that. And now you'll notice that I've taken a stamp visible layer. I love to call them screenshots because that's language most of us understands, because our phones do that too. So you take a screenshot of everything there is on your workspace. For painters, they would call it canvas. I'll use solid color, and then I'll pick green, luminous green, so that I can see whatever was included. I'll move in and see if there's anything that I need to include that was excluded by the select subject command. I'll keep the camera there for a while. I don't know where that I'm going. Okay, let me bring it back first. It's hard for me to edit without a keyboard, so I'll move around the image just to see what was left out and paint it back. So around the edge, to be precise. Select subject doesn't always work great, but sometimes it does, especially for people using newer versions of Photoshop. This is Photoshop 2020. Remember the time I told you it would find it very difficult to get this tassel? It did. I would know it won't, because I've been down that road before using the same software a number of times, and I know if anything is equally as bright as the background, it struggles. The same, if anything is as dark as the background, it also struggles. So I'm painting it in so that it's included together with the subject. So even if you're a photographer, unless you're asking for roles so that you can go edit them yourself, like unburden them with the editing work, you trust your product, so you take the rows for you to go edit. Then do not paste them up. Give them time. Maybe a deadline. Tell them, I'll give you 3 days, but I'll call you in 5. If in 5 days you'll not have delivered, then you'll see my call. I'll raise a complaint. So that by the time they are delivering, you're so happy with the results you get. People give you too much pressure. Then you do something you are very unproud to have done. You deliver work that you cannot even show for samples. You are so ashamed. If somebody asks you for your work, that is not the kind of work you show, because you know that was not your best. You did not give it your best, not because you didn't want, but because there wasn't sufficient time to do that. clients should understand we also want to produce works that we are happy to show as our samples. And the reason we are showing it is because we are proud of what we did. We know that we gave it all. But some clients are stubborn. They even want to sit there and watch you finish it up. Then later they'll see other works you've done for other people, and they begin to ask you those inboxes. Why didn't you do me something like this? And you know, women and clients, and in many chances our clients are women, they have one thing in common. They don't take accountability for anything. They are not accountable even for the decisions they make. Someone will tell you, I don't have time, just finish it up, give it the way it is. I want it now. But then tomorrow, if they see you having done something more impressive, they want to blame you for having not done that for them, but not blame themselves for not having given you enough time to do it. Sometimes you'll even see them now reconsidering. I've been told, okay, first, take your time and give me something similar to that. Why would you give me something under standard and then blame me for it? They are still blaming you for a decision they made. Lately, when I'm just correcting the mask so that I can load it as a selection, I hope you understand. Lately, I've made it a point. This camera that I'm recording with, is it recording or streaming with? This camera that I'm streaming with, anytime we are done and somebody is now paying, because that's when we discuss when I'm going to deliver, I put it on and press record. This one can record for a very long time. It records for 8 hours straight until the memory card is full. Pure clean audio, because it's a DJI camera. Now, if later you begin to say, you see that pressure you're giving me, it will be recorded. So you begin to say, you never told me that. Say, I told you 3 days, told you 4 days, told you I'll not be there for the weekend. Stop recording. Sorry, the camera understands commands. So when I said start recording, it started recording. Even if it was just part of my own conversation. So that day they begin to pressure you, saying, you should have told me. I would have waited if you didn't want to work. I paid so much for it. Why did you give me? You just cut a clip of that video and send it. It mutes them. There's nothing that brings any argument down like a video. If you have any video, like now I'm recording and somebody says I was in Moranga killing someone, this video records, it's because it's DJI, it records longitudes, latitudes, time, location, all. Availing it cuts all that argument. All your accusations go to drain. When you're correcting your masks, you need to be critical, because you won't get your chance to do this again, or rather you wouldn't want to come back and do it again. You can always come back and do it again, but you don't want to keep redoing one thing over and over again. So you want to get it right once, so that you don't have to do it again. I don't like that part. We shall liquefy it in a few, or puppet warp it. There are like many ways of doing it. If I go to a studio for a photo shoot, now I'm loading the selection. While pressing down on control, I double click the mask, deactivate the check layer, and then activate the subject layer, then go to my actions and run the Brian Umo's action for background cleanup. This one, an expansion of 1, and up to that point, now you can see the background is much even, right? Yes. The next thing that I need to do is now look for something to add to that background. Let's add the wainscoting. I've had wainscoting in some of my previous edits, so let's scavenge down our works and look for something that, yeah, this is wainscoting. So we'll copy this. If you don't know how we did this photo, it's in our previous live stream, like 2-3 live streams ago, I think 137 episode. So yes, let's use this one. Something simple that looks nice. Put it in a group, Alt, drag the mask down, that's copying it, and then invert it, pressing Ctrl and I on your keyboard. You see? Very nice. Let's create a different concept, a different type of that. So let's bring this down like that. Then we make another copy of it. We are not restricted with what we can make. We are the editors here. It looks too tall for him and he looked too short when they are like that. So we'll make it both a short one and a long one at the same time. Yeah, now that texture is nice. Let's see whether we can add a bookshelf. If it can work, fine. If it doesn't work, we just take it off. Edit like a pro, the future's rich. Edit like a pro with Stanley Mitch. I like this thing a lot, but it has bad perspective, so we are going to take it to Caplot. This thing comes with Windows 11. It's like, is it Caplot or Copilot? Copilot. And ask it to recreate similar but high resolution. So recreate similar but 8K resolution, with a book or two on the shelf. With a book or two on the shelf, on a white background, on a white background. full stop. Use 4x5 or 5x4. 5, use 5x4 crop. Enter. As it creates that, this is fast. I noticed that it's faster than ChatGPT. I've tested them both, so let's try something different while as we wait. Let's take off the top one. We see whether we can add books to that mix. Copilot has already made what you are looking for. So let's go to downloads and bring it in. Right, I was wondering where it is. Now I found it. Edit like a pro with Stanley Mitch. Here it is. It's better resolution. There is a book on it, and so we change that to multiply. Take away the books we added. Reduce opacity for this. Perfect. I told you I liked it, and it would look great. But I had it in very poor resolution. It even had JPEG artifacts. It's a little too dark, so inside it, Control L, and then reduce contrast or raise the lights so that the darkness on the background disappears. I love it. Oh, I'm shouting, sorry. It's just excitement. I could leave this photo at that point, but then let's make both very far, so reduce opacity for both backgrounds so that they move further back that way. Let's see whether we can reposition this to the left. Just like that, so that it's not so that this plant stop growing behind his head. I don't like things popping off people's heads. Probably you liked the other version, but let's keep this one that way. It will look better. Trust me, when things grow out of people's heads like this, they bother me a lot. So let's try and keep it there. Let's put a light on it. You've always known how I do it. Gradient, radio gradient, turn that to linear dodge, then push it, double click, and then it's a bag that is very hard to move when you have not double clicked it, and then move it off screen. Then determine the color of that light by just picking it from this list. So because he's wearing purple, let's pick purplish. A purplish color will make for a good for a simple color palette. On top of everything, we might just drop a color lookup table. I'm not having anyone in mind now, so we are going to scroll down, look at what makes it look great, stop when we have found something. I already like this. It is beautifully warm. You see, it's beautiful warm. But then let's scroll down. If we don't find another in that list of orange blue, then we are going to come back to the initial one. Whatever you do, ensure that it doesn't change the color of the gown, because this is the color of the gown that represents what one is graduating from. So I don't like anything in that list, so let's do the very first one. And just like that, we are done with that image. So we pick I don't know whether it has sufficient contrast. I suppose it is. So let's get to the branding. I don't know whether I have a photo that has branding here. Let's get it from the photo we copied it from. Oh, my works are branded. If you see anything that looks like my work and it doesn't have a name on it, doubt it. Just know that is one of my students. They learned from me. That's why they look similar, because all my works are branded. So I export that. While exporting, I'll also see to it that it's optimized. I have embedded color profile. These are things that you must check and convert to as RGB, because I edit in Profoto RGB. It's somewhere here. I'll show you. So let's first export this one, then come back and show you what Profoto is. And the reason for editing in Profoto RGB, in case you're wondering, is because it's a very large color profile. It has very many colors in that range. And I like to work without restrictions. Then I can restrict my output when I'm exporting it. And the only thing, the word restrict there, I'm using it loosely to mean that I'm doing something to ensure that those colors will not get compressed or converted when I post it on the web, maybe Facebook or Instagram or whatever other location. I used to crop it 4x5 for Instagram, but then I noticed that when those clients ask me to mount, I struggle with getting a proper frame for it. So I decided I'll be leaving them at 3x2, so that if they decide to mount a photo or two, it's not on me. You might decide to recrop an image like this one. Let me show you. I like the way it is, but you might decide to recrop it so that the kid is big. I think I'll also save that version like that, so that the baby is not small within the frame. So we'll drop the branding down. and export it again. Then we move on to the next image. Every time I'm editing, I'm thinking about a kind of edit that makes the image look great in general, makes the model stand out, make it easy to see the model. Let's call it subject for now, because they're not all models. So makes it easy to see the subject. The subject stands out strong, easy to see, easy to notice, easy to identify, and all. Just a minute. I need to pick a call here. Right, I'm back. I do mute the microphone when I'm picking calls, partly because clients' calls are confidential. And I also don't know what someone wants to say. I'm evening out the background. That stand that is behind him is supposed to put on a backlight. Which I did not put on when I was shooting him. I considered I didn't need it. It didn't seem necessary for me to have a backlight for this one. And I'll tell you why. Usually, I use a backlight, hair light and all when the background is dark and the hair or the article of clothing is disappearing into the background. So when the background is bright and the person is simply by the contrast of those two colors separated from the background, then I don't need a backlight. Because a light is not just about its presence, but the purpose that it serves. So at times, it will be there switched off, because even if it were there, it will not make a difference you can notice. Unless I'm gelling. And if you gel things on white, you also don't get to see them. Because any other color you drop there is darker than white. So gels work well with gray and any other color darker than gray. The client was booking for a wedding shoot, but they want to see samples, so I told them I'll deal with it when I'm done streaming. I'm saying that to also say that if you like to hire us to shoot with you for an event, or to shoot for you an event, you've been booked and you're unavailable. So you either want to shoot with us or shoot for, you want us to shoot with you, or you want us to shoot for you because you won't be present, or you are double booking for the same day, feel free to hire us. We pilot drones, we live stream, we take photos, record videos, do interviews, we do everything. Then we'll bring you the roles for you to edit, or completely pay us, get your cut, and then we'll get the job done for you, even the editing. And like you can see, we are very good at editing. I removed the shadow, it looks floaty, so I'll bring it back and then feather it strongly and cover it much so that it's there but loosely there. I don't have the heel for this shoe. I don't know whether I can go get it. Let's see whether we have a photo in that list that has the shoe along that pose. Yeah, there is. So we are going to load it. Here we are doing damage control. Do exact same setting so that we have everything looking the same. Perfect. Then pick our image, this one. Let's take a screenshot. Control Alt Shift E. Convert it for smart filters so that when we move it, it doesn't lose resolution. Drag it and drop it. We align it such that it extends with that heel. It's a very small piece that is missing, but it will make much of a difference. Especially if the owners would have decided to mount the photo. Nice. Now we need to raise the brightness of the background to look the same as the image we have. So we raise it. Once they look the same, we're good. And we are. I'll mask this part so that we don't have a hard edge. We'll take a screenshot and then use spot healing brush tool. Click once, it doesn't get the job done. Let's see what it will do. Now that's good. I find myself needing to do this sometimes, and you'll wonder why I cropped the shoe out. I noticed that I've cropped it once I have taken the photo, or I'm taking the photo, I'm done taking the photo, but then I click a few other clicks to capture the smile. Actually, sometimes I ask a baby to look up or down, and I'm capturing a number of photos in a burst. Then my hands move around or something, kierere tu, alafu I find myself having cropped an image that I shouldn't have. Some other time it's a test shot, so I did not care about composition, just wanted to see what the lights are doing. But then, like I told you, clients have affinity to bad photos, so they take that one. And even this one is not like I'll send and they'll ask me where is the shoe. But again, sometimes they like the photo too much, even after you've edited it. They send it to you for mounting. And now, you're either having to re-edit it to include the shoe, or you'll even have to cut the shoe even further. Because a photo mount, when creating the photo mount, they finally have to crop a part of it. Taking away that block of soil, right, of sand. Now I think we're good. Now we just need patch tool and even out this part. We just select a part, that's what patch tool does. You say, I want this part to look like this. And then you select another part and you say, replace this part with this part. Just like that. That's what patch tool does. You select a part you don't want and tell Photoshop, liken that part to this one. Liken sounds so nice. Liken that part. Perfect. Now we have a good crop. I'll bring in that photo. So you see that even when it's cropped, now you see we fixed the shoe without needing to change the photo. Sometimes I have two photos of similar expression. Even when they pick one, I can always pick the other and edit. They won't notice because it's the exact same. Sometimes I don't, and I don't want to change the expression or the mood they picked, so I just correct that one bit. Yes. Tumako. Now we select subject. All right. We add a solid color check layer. Sorry, that's a gradient. Then we pick luminous green. You can also pick black for this one, but luminous green works for me. Then to zoom in like I did is Control and plus on your keyboard, or rather Command and plus on your Mac. So I'm painting in the areas that were left out. Like I told you when I was editing the other image, is that Photoshop struggles with selecting something or seeing edges, because edges is something it sees. It uses edges to make a selection. It struggles to see edges when the luminosity of what it's supposed to select is similar to the luminosity of the background. It struggles. By the way, shout out to all my clients, or rather to all clients that come to me, because there's no such thing as my clients. That doesn't exist. They're just clients. Today they decide to go to a supermarket and take ice cream. Tomorrow they decide to go to a studio. The other day they go to a kinyozi, a barber shop. I've reminded that kinyozi is a Kiswahili word. Some people don't know what that is. Kinyozi is barber shop. It's the very same clients we share with everyone. So it's no such thing as my client. Sometimes your competition is not even another photographer. It's the merry-go-round joint. They spend all the money your client would have spent on at your studio, so they come to you broke, or they don't come at all. They are direct competitors and they are indirect competitors, but competition is competition. You're not necessarily competing to take photos or anything, you're just competing for the money. And everybody competing to spend your client's money, or to spend a client's money at their place or on them, then is your competitor. If a man was supposed to come shoot with you photos worth 5,000 and gave a girlfriend 2,000, so came with 3, that girlfriend is your competitor, because she's the reason you did not get the full amount. And you know how hard it is to convince someone that a photo shoot is better than a girlfriend, so that they prefer a photo shoot. So that they prefer to bring more money at a photo shoot than it is to give a girlfriend. So you see, it's not even a competition you can win. Or is it? You can't win. So if you have this artist who makes this amount of money but has to share his money with his kids, school fees, all those, they compete for his capacity to buy. You remember demand, it has to do with the willingness and capacity. Not supply changes only the price. But capacity, that's where the real competition is. Someone that pays a prostitute, you still cannot convince them that sex is better, photo shoot is better than, so that they can bring you all the money. Someone that pays for Spotify, you cannot convince them that photo shoot is better than Netflix or Spotify. Therefore, Netflix, Spotify, home Wi-Fi effectively become your competition. I like this conversation. It's very constructive. So before you hate on another photographer, thinking they are the ones stealing your clients, hijacking your clients, remember that except the competition that you can perceive, there is more competition that you cannot perceive. So many people are going to buy PrEP at hospitals, P2s. Some have sick mothers. They are buying medication. So even the pharmacy is effectively your competition. That if your client has not been sick for a while, they are likely to spend more on you than if they were sick and needed to attend to their health. So even their health becomes your concern, because then the hospital is going to become your competition, because somebody will not prefer to come for a shoot when they're supposed to go for a surgery. Maybe that's why you should talk your clients out of drug abuse, because if your client, your said client, leaves or is taken to a rehab, at which point are they supposed to come for a photo shoot while they're supposed to be away for 6 months in a rehab, rehabilitating themselves from alcoholism and drug abuse. In that case, even drugs and substance abuse, I still wonder why they call it drug and substance, as though drugs are not substance. Becomes your competition as well. I'm still painting in the areas that were left out, that I know are supposed to be part of the background. They're not supposed to be included together with the subject. That's what I mean. So if there was a way of winning your clients off drugs, off girlfriends, junk food, Ubers, though those things also are adding a lot to the quality of life, then you're likely to have more money, because there is only one place left to spend that money, on you. Sometimes people come to your studio, they are willing to spend very little cash, sometimes 1,000, for you to take maybe 3 images. Of clothes they bought worth 20,000. A shoe alone is worth 7,500 or 5,000. One shoe alone spent more than they can pay you in a year. But you, who is supposed to document that forever, because the shoe will end and leave your photo right there. The shoe wears out and leave your photo with them. But your photo that is supposed to last forever, they'll pay less, because they might not find so much value in the photo than they find in the shoe. But the shoe has just a very short lifespan. Let's use this one. I love this background, especially when I'm editing photos for kids. I use it for adults too, but when I'm editing it for kids, I love what it does. It's very pretty, especially because of the lighting and all. Put it in a group, Alt, copy the mask, drag the mask down, and then inverse it. Let's recrop this thing. Reorganize. We take away all those and keep this centerpiece alone. Then we pick gradient and create a gradient going down so that we feather it from below. Just like that. It will have artifacts because you overstretched it. Let me zoom in. You'll see them here. To take care of that, you just go to blur, Gaussian blur, and pick a number like 6, 7, 8. I think 8. 8 should do. It fades into the background and smoothens. You remember the color lookup we used? We need to go get it. This one. So we drag and drop it. We're going to drop the color lookup first, but outside the group so that it colors everything, and then the branding. Let's make the branding black, the text black so that it's more legible. Then we drag it down here so that you interact with it before you interact with the image. I'll zoom in because I did many things except check through the image. So I'm going to check through the image with spot healing brush tool. I know there are a number of things to click away, then click them away. This part is not necessary. When those clients pace you up, don't even bother with this. This is just too much time. This is excessive editing. But if someone gives you your time, you have no reason to give them a photo that has stuff like this. Well, you had 3 days to deal with it. I'm not saying that you shouldn't bother do the good job. I'm saying like this photo is seemingly complete, you see, even without what I am doing. But when there is sufficient time, deliver excellent work, not good work, excellent. Approach excellence and deliver excellent work. Now the eyes, I don't know why I had left them out. This is the essence of zooming in and going through the image. If you finish a photo before you zoom it, then what you've done a general edit, and it's very important, especially when you are in a hurry, because the client could not let you, or you are in a hurry because you have so much other work to do, or you are in a hurry because that's how you edit. You decided to charge less so that you can deliver less. That's why you'll never grow. Tell me how you take a photo at 100 shillings and intend to buy a lens worth 126,000. Hiyo pesa itatosha lini na bado unakula na unalipa rent? How do you survive on 100 shilling per photo and still want to buy an R8, an R5? You'll never improve, so you'll never make better work. You'll not make work you're proud of. You'll just be showing up for work for food. And trust me, when Corona comes, and by Corona here I mean a pandemic that requires taking some people home, you'll be the first one on your bus, on the bus to Kogalo, or whichever village you come from, Warufaga. You'll go back to Warufaga. Mushada. Export the image is ready. You go back to Mushada, I tell you. Next image. Again, copy and rasterize so that we first content aware, feel stuff like these highlights we don't like. I'm saying we, including you, because why else are you here? Why would you like them to stay when I'm here to teach you how to take them away? We don't want that, or do we? No, we don't. Done. We select both Control and E to merge the layers, or just right click. Let me undo, or right click and merge down. It does the same thing. Deselect. Then I'll go to patch tool and begin to select areas I don't like and drag them to areas I like that. I see a wrinkle I don't like, I drag it to an area that has no wrinkles. See a spot I don't like, drag it to the area that has no spots. And that is how we will vibe this thing. We'll try create a studio look for this one. Like get a studio background and use it for the background. I'll show you what I mean in a short while. Let me make a general look. As I copy that, let me go look for that photo. So I'll copy I'll make a new layer, call it flowers, green wall, and backdrops. I had said I'll make a group for those because I need to use them a lot. So I'll keep dragging all green walls here. Green walls and backdrops. So that we use that backdrop, the one that I'm talking about. Maybe you need to see big icons so that you understand what I'm dragging in. I like this one, it's pretty. Sorry, let's put this one in a group and inverse mask it so that we can just drag and drop things we like. This is very pretty. Let's select it. You like it? It looks very nice. But today is not its day. I keep interrupting myself. But that's how I think. So you'll have to bear with me. Green walls and backdrops. Green walls. When you have so many backgrounds, then you know what to do with. One of the good things you can do for yourself is create many groups that separate different things so that when you're looking for something you quickly find it. I like this one too. It's pretty. A lot pretty. Let's put a mask to it and create a gradient. Let it stay there. We might decide to keep it. I do like it. It looks nice. Except that the brightness is taking over. Is it taking over? It's overshadowing the boy. Remember we said, no matter how pretty an edit it is, it should never take away attention from the subject. So maybe we might need to reduce opacity and many other things. Whatever many other things those are. Or even rotate it so that it cuts across instead of coming top down. Whatever it is we settle for, we'll decide. For now, let's stay there. Let's continue with our hunt for backdrops and green walls. Yesterday we were looking for green walls. It took us forever. So we are bringing all the walls with greenery or green background or plants, because those we are going to use. This is another very pretty one. Let's switch off this one. And the beauty of this one is that it has books and it's a graduation, so it's very relevant for in the environment, you see. We keep that one there too. We'll come back and test it. I told you earlier, I don't always know what I want to do with a photo. I know when I get there. I like this one too. And the more I experiment with things, the more I come up with something pretty. Because if I pre-think it, all the time I'm likely to end up in the same place I ended up last time. And all my edits begin to look like each other, which is very unimpressive. So, green walls. Green walls and the what? and the backdrops. We've not gotten to a backdrop yet. Wondering how far is. Can backdrops be? I've done those downloads before. They were in one of my purchases. Some other time we are editing green walls or a wall that requires green plantation or something. We are going to have a very small group with very few things to check with. We're also going to make one for shelves and drawers and all. I've seen something I like. Let's minimize this first. This one also looks nice. But the perspective it was shot at does not align with the image. Let's continue packing green walls together until you get to the backdrops, because that's the backdrop I want. I've also used this a lot, and every time I used it, the results were awesome. Every time, every single time I used it, the results were awesome. I've never used it in a place and I had to take it away because I didn't like it. Every time I've used it. Actually, when I don't know what to do with a photo, because I'm feeling redundant or I'm tired or I've worked all day or something, I always go back to that. And everything else circular that has that lighting, and it works very well. There's no day I edited it with that and then I had to take it away because I didn't like it. It doesn't happen. Haven't gotten to backdrops yet. Modo. This is like a beautiful corner. Very beautiful corner. We are going to use that in one of the images. Green walls and backdrops. When I've muted everything like that, okay, the backdrops I was talking about, nimeanza kuzifikia. They are these ones. Those are the backdrops I was talking about. So I want to create a look that has backdrops like that, so that it has that studio vibe. Not a backdrop that has been cropped for where a client is standing, but including all the rods and all. I've also used this background a lot in very many images, and the results were always great. This one. There's no day I've used it that I've regretted it. It works all the time. green walls, and backdrops. Even green leaves fall in the green walls and backdrops. That's not quite green, but it will serve similar purpose. I have a green backdrop in my studio. Maybe you're wondering why I have so many green things. It's because I also have to download things that very well aligns with. These backdrops work very well with a black background and with the green background. Black and green, they work very well. The last time I checked, I had so many backdrops. Let's say 5 maybe. This is another backdrop, but it lacks stands. Someone might wonder, what do I prefer between shooting and editing? If I had capacity, I would really not edit. I would hire an editing team, train them enough to edit like me, and then become the one that shoots. Interacting with a computer and talking to a microphone like this is not as much fun as it is to interact with a client on the other side of the shooting space. Talking, making stories, touching each other while pausing each other, exchanging with words with each other, commenting on each other's concepts and ideas, sharing life, conversing with each other, all that kind of thing. Interacting with kids, touching them, lifting them up, toddlers, newborns. You see? Especially kids smell so nice. I think it's a softer or something. There's something they add to the clothes when they are washing. They smell so fresh. They're either smelling milk or fresh. And most of them smell fresh. Only those of lazy mothers smell milk. Yeah, this is another backdrop. Another backdrop. This one will stay in the backdrop area. So yes, I would prefer to shoot. Shooting is a lot fun. Think about it. You cannot travel to go edit in an Airbnb in Diani, but you can travel to go shoot at Diani. You cannot go edit with a laptop below or besides a waterfall, but you can travel to go shoot at a waterfall. You see? Because even if you are at a waterfall and you're not recording yourself editing, then how do you even enjoy to see you seated at a waterfall? You see, still, even when you're an editor, we might need to see you. We might need to see you filming yourself seated around a waterfall. In a recent edit, I've used this one. and every time it's used, again, it looks great. It's one download you'll never regret having. If it's a purchase, you'll never regret purchasing it. Backdrop. I told you I had many. I just didn't know where they were. I had to keep on the hunt. Is it keep on the hunt or keep on with the hunt? I think what the word there is with the hunt. See, I have over 80. So let's pick backdrops. The one that had flowers. Where is it? This one. Drag it in the image and now begin to finish up this edit so that I don't keep you here for so long. In case you want any of those backdrops, because I have very many, you can buy one at 200 shillings or a stack at 5,000. 5,000, I'm going to sell you a lot of backdrops. A lot. A lot. I think I have them in the thousands. So because I wanted to keep the stands, I'll keep the stands in. You remember I said I wanted to keep that studio vibe in the image. So I'm slimming it down while holding down on control. And then I'll use gradient, take it away from this floor so that it starts in between and then rises. It will look like shifts from white to the pinkish that also rises. I need it to be near white. I don't like it, so I'll use this. But before that, let's correct the mask. Remember, I just did rough work so that we can test the backgrounds. There is even a time I do that all day. Pick one photo on one background, let's say gray, and begin to drag all the photos, all the backgrounds that I've bought. Recently, and see how they look. Changing different blend, playing with different blend modes to see the results I get. And then them that work with a certain blend mode on gray that doesn't darken too much or something, then I begin to create even groups. I can even create a whole group called soft light, and I say all these ones, 700 of them, or 60 or 80, 100, 200 backdrops. I've tested them on soft light and they work. So every time I drag and drop them on a white or gray background, I do what? There are times I have so much work, I don't have time to rush and test backgrounds. So when I don't have too much work, that's when I do all that devil's work. So every time I drag it in, I don't even think twice. Just turn it to soft light. Blight slightly and continue. In your work, you need to know what works. What am I saying? In your work, yes, you need to know what works. That if you are in a hurry or you had too much work to deliver, sometimes the clients are not rushing you, but you are, say, the 3 days promise, and you serve 3 clients a day, you ended up serving 12. And you remember you need to stick to your policy. So even without a rush from an individual client, you might need to rush yourself so that you can catch up with the time. Because remember also, you might request more time for them that came later to give you more days. But you see, more days does not mean you are busy editing. More days means you are spreading your chances and hoping and praying that another client will not come. Because if you're supposed to deliver on Wednesday like today, and another client comes on Monday, then we go back to the 3-day policy. That one is supposed to receive their work on what? Thursday. If 4 come on Monday, you need to deliver to them on Thursday. But there is already work available that is supposed to be delivered on Wednesday. You remember, right? So then, if you negotiated with anyone to extend days to Friday, then it means you have works to deliver on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And you're also hoping that more did not come on Tuesday, because those ones will also have to receive their works on Friday. You see how pressure increases? Let's make this darker so that I can see what I'm doing. Sometimes you having attracted more clients can become like a curse for your business. Somebody will think, why don't you hire more people? Sometimes it suddenly happens. Like, you can always handle your work, let's say the 2 of you or 3 of you. Then suddenly there is too much work. And a 1-day work is not enough to hire someone, because when next month there will be no such days. What will you pay the person you hired with? Because you hoped that there will be more work. Some will think, why don't you send it to a retoucher online and pay them off so that your work gets edited and then you just deliver? That introduces 2 problems. One problem is that both you and the client are relying on a third party for you to deliver to your client. You are the one that promised, but you are also relying on someone else's capacity. Sorry, I have to pick this one. Where were we? Yes, you are the one that made a promise, but you and your client are subject to someone else's capacity to deliver for you to deliver. You're even putting your business in jeopardy. If they don't deliver on time, you will be forced to edit them yourself because you have copies. And if they deliver later, they'll still expect you to pay up, even if they were late. If you rush them so that they deliver on time, they are likely to suffer the same thing I told you earlier. You remember when I said that if a client rushes you, you might not get enough time to do your best. You are also incapacitating them to do their best, because for them to produce that which they made you hire them, it takes time, and you do not have time. That's why you hired them, because you did not have even time to edit them yourself. So you're rushing them, just like you did not want to get rushed yourself. But now you are hoping that that which you couldn't do because of the rush, they will do with the rush. Problem number 2, it takes money off your pocket. If you charge 200 a photo and you have to pay 50 shillings or 80 or 100 for each photo retouched externally, you see, for every 10 images, 800 is gone from your pocket. And I'm not saying that those retouchers do not deserve the money they ask for. But you're not in the business of giving out the money you receive unless you're buying a studio equipment or investing it in something. So the more you work for yourself and achieve the results you want, one, you'll get the satisfaction of having done the work yourself. Two, you will have mastered the art of producing that kind of work. Kiasi tu, someone, I'm coming. Hello. Nakuja. Just wait. Give me a minute. Right, I'm back. I was just awesomely interrupted by a client. I say awesomely because I told you every interruption usually comes with cash. No matter how small, no matter how much, it brings resources. A client asks, how much do you charge for this? Can I pay a deposit for it? I have a barrio, can you come stream it? How much do I have to pay so that you lock my dates for me? And just like that, a simple transaction from a simple knock at the door. There is money in your M-Pesa, and you know what keeps a business? It's not live streams like this one. Unless they are monetized, maybe. And I don't know whether they pay enough to sustain a business. It can sustain a person, but a business has so many expenses. What keeps a business is that income. The client that keeps coming. And I said there is no such thing as your client. You remember? Yes. They are just humans who need services, and we tend to deliver them. Did I unmute the mic? Yes. And our competition is even barber shops who steal the money, the massage parlors, Banner Boy concerts. I know you don't know how that Banner Boy concerts becomes your competition. But remember, you're not really competing for who takes more photos from clients. We are competing of who gets the money. And when a client is paid, let's say when a person is paid, before we call them clients, it's not necessary to brand them. So let's say if when a person is paid, let's say 50,000 as a salary that month, everything is competing for that amount, from rent, school fees, tours and travels, clothes, shoes, alcohol, women, children, the police, thieves, scammers, banks, MMFs, real estates. Anywhere they take that money except you, they successfully compete with you for the money and win, at least in their mind. You're competing even with Coca-Cola as a photographer. Because if anybody takes 2 liters or buys their children 2 liters of Coca-Cola, they've successfully taken the money that would have been yours and given it to another company. Now, they don't have anything to spend on you or at your place. Now you see how that becomes a competition. Right, the mask is ready. So let's load the selection. Of course, Brian Umo. Background cleanup action. Always use an expansion of 1. Always. And then the background we said works. The background that we said that works. Need to copy this mask down while holding down on Alt and then inverse it. Do the gradient so that it smoothly comes forward, or cut it with a hard edge. Let's delete the mask and add another one so that there is a line that where the background starts. It's good that way. We just need to go to levels and raise the brightness values of the background. Good enough. I feel the need to replace this CD cover. I don't like it. I would like them to be books. So I'll sample the books from the top one. Go to the layer that has the subject. This is just background. Let's call it BG. And then make a copy, Control J, Control and J, then drag it down. I don't know why my mouse is not moving things, so let's use the keyboard to move things around. Then align it from there. Then come back and mask it out. From here, sometimes your initial idea is not always the brightest. Then you have to come back and correct them. That's where editing comes in. Tidy up your work until the time you give your work, you are so proud. Of what you are presenting. Yeah, now that looks good. I'll feather it slightly so that the edge of the shadow is not too hard. And then there is a part of that cutting that requires addressing. Some of you could have noticed it already. Thank you guys for being here. It would be so boring if I was just alone. Or if I knew you wouldn't even come even later. If you're watching pre-recording, just comment in the comment section and say where you're watching us from. Now we need to seal this book, this part. I don't know who coiled that page. Jennifer Craig, Devil in the Details. Yeah, very nice. Right in here, I need a color lookup, so I'll go get it. I didn't say channel mixer, I said color lookup. Somewhere in the vis. Well, let's start here at the sub. That is much prettier because the color aligns with everything else. You see that there is a tint of purple that is also at the vibe of the shirt and the gown and all awesome stuff. We need to get not we need, but I think I should get something like a snoot. Let's look for snoot effect. So we add a little more character on the wall. Yeah, this one. My keyboard is refusing completely to drag. It can't drag a thing. Don't know what's wrong with my mouse, whether it's the mouse, whether it's the system that's failing. Okay, let's recreate it from inside then. Nebukadnezaro aishohithia mihianano agiathana ihoyagwo etua munene kwi Ngai nake Ngai amutwire nyamu miaka mugwanja gitikia kwi Ngai wi mwagiriru Ngai ningi uri mwihokeku nigwihokeire. It can't move, man. I don't know what's wrong with this thing. Let's do it from outside the group. Maybe Photoshop just needs a restart. Sometimes system behave like that. It's been on for 3 days, but that shouldn't be the reason it behaves like that. Then we switch it off and then put curves in there and raise it up. I don't know whether it will move this time. Oh my goodness, it doesn't move. So let's export this image the way it is. We restart Photoshop. Because what's that? Onaigigelio guturaliwe igekiumahalewe Jesu hihithie nako. Before we even do that, let's see whether there's another image in that list that requires addressing. It's this one. Let's do that when we restart. But then let's cancel the rest of the images. We don't need them to recover. So that it doesn't take us forever to get back here. All right. To do that, you just need Task Manager and you go to Photoshop and add process. You end task. Then you kickstart it afresh. That behavior is unacceptable. Igekiumalewe Jesu hihithie nako. kuja na kuona. I'll switch off the microphone. I have a client.